Nothing but unique rebuilds on this channel. Anybody could do any of the normal teams in any of these games. I like to switch things up, do things a little bit different. Today, you are looking at the all-Latino rebuild with the base of the Miami Marlins. Yuri Perez, Sandy Alcantara, Luis Arias, and many others are on this roster. There are a couple of players that I did hold back for the sake of trading, just because, hell, I want some good players in future years, and they happen to be guys who are like B potential, A potential, guys like a Noble Meyer, guys like a Max Meyer, who can definitely garner a pretty good trade piece, whatever that may be at a certain point in time. Again, it's only 3 players. I didn't want to just throw them away for any old thing, so see how things play out. Not even a week into the season and the Mets are already interested in offering us a trade. Nope. Quick glance at the roster. Our starting pitching might be the best part of it. Other than that, we are pretty aging. As you can see, Oscar Brazoban is 34. Betancourt and Fortes are either older 20s or early 30s, with guys in the minors in their mid-20s. Donovan Solano is 36. Evan Longoria and some of the other third basemen are getting up there in age. Adalberto Mondesi makes an appearance on this team. Granted, he's not that good, as you can see. We do have some young guys behind him. It's probably going to take him a couple years before he falls off the roster, let's be real. Brian De La Cruz and Jesus Sanchez are seemingly going to be here for a little bit. Julio Pablo Martinez, not too bad. He needs to get his vision up, though. And Aviseo Garcia holding down right field for the time being. In scouting, we are going to spend a considerable amount of time discovering players just to make sure that I get the best players possible on this team as draftees. First trade of the rebuild, Emmanuel Valdez was on the trade block, and we still had Noble Meyer sitting around. Also, I wanted to kind of replace who we have at center field, Victor Mesa Jr. He's not quite ready yet, so I'll take on Willie Abreu and send them Noble Meyer. I don't exactly know why they would even remotely value this individual. Luis Martinez is going to get traded with Max Meyer for Jefferson Carroll. Jefferson Carroll is on the trade block for some reason. I mean, I can see it. William Contreras is there. Gary Sanchez is there, but he's on a 1 year. I mean, Eric Haase really shouldn't be factoring into any team's future plans, but we'll take advantage and get ourselves a young catcher, because we're looking kind of meh at catcher. Like, it's fine, but Fortes can hit lefties. Betancourt has at least an arm, but I'd like to see a more well-rounded player. Eventually, Carroll will play. Also, Huascar Inoue is on the trade block, as he usually is in the first year of MLB the Show 24 franchise. We're going to push Daxton Fulton and Vince Velasquez out of here in order to get ourselves a younger starting pitcher. A kind of a draft. Best player potential-wise being Eddie Rosales. But everybody at least brings something to the table. There's nobody absolutely trash or completely unplayable if they're able to develop. Chris Mota can hit lefties, can hit righties a little bit, is fast, and is decently clutch. Eddie Rosales is okay. He's 21. It's going to be a bit before we ever see him. He's got decent velocity. Andres Lopez has lefty power and isn't terrible at anything, but isn't good at anything per se. Also, Albert Torres, better than Andres Lopez. Granted, they play 2 different positions. Solid contact, okay elsewhere. He's got some speed, can play some defense. Guadalupe Escobar, decent hit and K per 9, home runs per 9 are fine. Just needs to work on the walks per 9 easily. Lincoln Sanchez can hit. He can hit for contact. He can hit in the clutch. That's it. 22 years old. He's going to need some work, particularly fielding wise. I don't know if that power ever gets to like average. And finally, Leo Santana, solid K per 9, very good break on one of his pitches, whichever one it may be, probably the curveball. You never know until you jump into the edit screen and really see it from there, because SDS, I've been asking for years, if Diamond Dynasty can get right there, right next to me where it says toggle attributes, why can't I press R3 to see what the break of each pitch is, what the velocity of each pitch is, what the control is? Like, that seems like a stupid easy patch in. In this draft, there were only 2 players with a 95 or higher potential. Number 1 being Damian Cruz, 99 potential. He's definitely going to be a beast. Then on the other side of the spectrum in Detroit, they have a 96 potential player, but he's not nearly as MLB ready coming into 2025 and beyond. Wow, we were terrible, but honestly, we really shouldn't be that surprised. 60 and 102 to finish off year 1. It's all right. Free agency might be good to us, though. For like the 400th sim in a row, the Dodgers win the World Series in 24. They defeat the Orioles, though. It's pretty interesting. 4 of our players retire: Joel Benjamin, Johnny Cueto, Chris Muriel, and Domingo Tapia. Only one of which is for injury and one of which is for age. The other 2, they just weren't that good. Let's be honest. They were F potential. I believe this is a dev for SDS. This guy might be also. We're in desperate need of a first baseman. So I know that the Mets have Mark Vientos, and they've actually re-signed Pete Alonso. So I figured, let's take Vientos off your hands. We'll give you a decent starter in Lee Moya and Adalberto Mondesi. We'll also throw an offer at Anthony Santander. He didn't play that bad last year, but I'm sure he'd do better with us. Yuri Perez is way too good at way too young of an age for me to just let him go. So we're going to give him an extension. It might be undercutting him a bit, but it's still a lot of money. And I've even backloaded it for him just to ensure he can get another contract. 10 years, $200 million to start spring training. Here's the rotation for 2025. Perez, Alcantara, Luzardo, Cabrera, and Inoue, who we did acquire last season, as well as in the bullpen, Brian Mata, who honestly is out of options. I decided, screw it, just bring him up as a long reliever. Not a bad idea in my opinion. Jose Cisneros, Yoni Chirinos, who we signed in free agency, Victor Arano, also I believe signed in free agency, Jose De Leon, Carlos Estevez, who is here for not much money, even if he is a closing pitcher, but a little under $2 million for the next 3. He'll come in as a setup man. Huascar Brazoban, setup man, and Jorge Lopez by the CPU's calculations, the closer. For now, lineups looks as such. Arias will lead off. Santander will bat behind him. De La Cruz, Vientos will bat number 4. Emmanuel Valdez will bat 5. Sanchez, Tapia, who's still on this team. I hope to eventually find another outfielder. There are some guys with a better overall, but he's got a good stick against right-handers, so he's going to play at least at DH and has some solid speed, even if he's 31 years old. Christian Betancourt will be the catcher. Jacob Amaya, the shortstop, will be batting 9. Solano comes back for another year despite him being 37 years old. You can't deny that kind of contact off the bench. Nick Fortes, great contact against lefties. William Abreu, an up-and-coming outfielder. We'll see if hopefully he can break through the C plateau of potential. Yohan Camargo, third base. And hopefully our offense is better than it was last year. Our pitching was fine. It's late May. We're about 27 and 28 on the year. I decided to look on the trade block for a little bit. There's a reliever, Carlos Hernandez, and the Royals are interested in taking this deal. He's not bad for a reliever, and I kind of need a not bad reliever at this point in time. And I don't mind trading Vidal Brujan just for the simple fact I don't think he's ever going to be that good. Hernandez does have a 2.6 ERA. It's only 17 in the third innings, but I'll take it. Just a simple little reliever swap between Cisneros and Mendez. Cisneros is 35. He's pitching okay. Unfortunately, missed out on one of our draft picks, Frank Santana. Not a great draft by any means. Everybody seems to at least be solid in potential, ranging from a high C to a low B. Alex Ortiz, not much of a contact hitter, but is a great fielder for a catcher. Fernando Mota, pretty good K. Walks per 9, home runs per 9. He's a starter. Might be a little bit before we see him. He is a 69 overall with a C potential. Hopefully he can advance past his own potential. Jim Carvall, amazing strikeout guy. Reese Fernandez, a work in progress, pretty average across the board, if not below average. Same goes with Javier Torres. Matter of fact, he's basically below average in everything except speed. He's fine. Carlos Santos, solid, not too bad, pretty decent velocity. He's 18 years old, and again, Frank, we couldn't sign him. Phillies get a generational type prospect, 95 potential. He's 19 years old. White Sox have a pretty damn good draft with 4 players over 87 potential. The Angels get a generational starting pitcher, Edwin Kingman. He is 19 years old though, and those pronouns definitely going to need some work. Mid-August, we're way out of it, so it really doesn't matter. Yuri Perez is going to be out for the rest of the season with a torn rotator cuff. We finished 2025 6 games better than we did last year. Araya is not too bad with a 286 average and 14 home runs. That might even be a career high. It is. He's not really a double-digit home run guy, but he is a very high average individual. Anthony Santander, definitely worth the signing. 37 home runs and 103 RBIs with a 304 average. Brian De La Cruz, 22 and 62 to 48. Not the best. I mean, it's the worst of his career. We'll see if he can get better next year. He's only 28 years old. Jesus Sanchez, 22 and 58 with a 272 average. And Manuel Valdez seems to be taking that next step, at least counting stats wise. 17 home runs and 64 RBIs in a full season. Mark Vientos struggled. He struggled the whole year. Also benched him a little bit. He'll have to work on his game. But 10 home runs, 37 RBIs. It's fine. Victor Mesa Jr., I had to call him up. He didn't really play all that much. Jefferson Quero, I also called him up September. Jacob Amaya, he was an all-star surprisingly. I guess they had to give us an all-star at some point. He happened to be that one. Seems to be getting a bit better. Tapia, 12 home runs, 39 RBI. Should have kept him in the lineup probably as long as possible just because he's a good contact hitter. Nick Fortes, decent. I mean, for a catcher. Christian Betancourt, a little better. One of these guys, I believe, is a free agent, so I'm just going to let them walk. Willie Abreu is probably going to get sent down, let's be real. And Edwin Rios, I don't know when he came up because I don't remember actually pulling him up to the Major League roster. As terrible as we were, it really reflected in our pitching, let's be real. Edward Cabrera with a 5.11 ERA and a 1.7 whip. Sandy Alcantara was very good, but he just was not getting the run support, else he probably would have had way less than 11 losses. Jesus Luzardo, solid ERA, I will gladly take it. Brian Mata, most of his innings were in the bullpen, so I can't really make heads or tails of this. Iwaskar Inoue, I believe he also came out of the bullpen. No, he was our 5th starter. Just couldn't get the wins. I mean, he was fine, I guess. Sixto Sanchez, I didn't call him up. I don't know when the hell this happened. The game does do this at the end of the year. They'll just call guys up for no apparent reason. It's very stupid. And it actually wastes an option, which makes no sense. As far as the rest of the bullpen, nobody really stands out. I don't even get how Jorge Lopez ended up back in the closer position is honestly beyond me. If I don't put you there, you shouldn't be there. I wanted Carlos Estevez, who isn't even on here. What the hell? I have everything sent to manual, therefore I shouldn't be having anything changed if I don't do it myself. SDS, please do better about that. Even if I don't have enough people on the roster, that should just be my problem. And you shouldn't allow me to go forward if I don't have enough to make it work. Dodgers go back-to-back, this time beating the New York Yankees in 2025. No one on our squad retired, so we don't really care about who else retired. I am choosing to bring Tapia back. It's just a matter of whether he wants to return or not. You are not getting the automatic 5-year contract that every MLB The Show player seems to ask for once they've hit free agency. This makes no sense at all. 2 years, $5.2 million sounds pretty fair for a guy who, I mean, yeah, double-digit home runs, but you're not hitting for that great of an average, and you probably only really play against right-handed pitchers and be a pinch runner. Solano really wants to return at the age of 38, and I'm not gonna lie, that contact and clutch, man, if only regression weren't so hard on a player's skill and more so be on a guy's physical attributes. I know there aren't too many in these attributes, as you can see. Speed, reaction would probably be something that vision I could kind of understand, but it is what it is. Last year we ended up with the number 2 pick after coming in with 3rd best odds, which is really first because the top 3 teams get the same amount. Let's see where we end up this year. We're at number 6. Hopefully we move up again. Damn, unfortunately we move down to the Giants move up 7 picks and they'll end up with the first pick in the 2026 MLB draft. Still in the offseason, and we've got to get rid of one of these catchers. We've got 3. And I think we have 29 guys on the major league roster. We haven't hit spring training yet, so I could just let them rock, but I might as well just trade them before one of them gets injured. Betancourt, I'll keep him around because he can hit both lefties and righties at least decently well. An amazing arm. And Nick Fortes, let's be honest, he only really hits lefties and can field. And we could really use some young starting pitching. So, hunted around, found this individual that the Pirates are for some reason going to take for Geronimo Oliva with spectacular hits per 9. And it's just going to need to work on everything else. And he should be pretty good. Still has 3 options, so we don't have to call him up immediately. As far as the offseason is concerned, there really isn't much spectacular to speak of. I will admit, Vlad Guerrero Jr. is on the free agency list, and it's very late in the game. It's February. I could attempt to sign him. I'm just not going to because I know he's going to want a ton of money, and I'm going to need that flexibility at a later point in time, even if he can put up elite numbers. The guys we did sign include Luis Rengifo. We basically re-signed a lot of other guys to avoid arbitration, like Jesus Sanchez, 5 years, $35 million. Jesus Luzardo also comes back for about $15 million a year. Donovan Solano, for some reason, came back at like 38, but we could use the contact bat at first if, say, anybody else gets hurt, like Vientos. Eloise Montero, we signed him for a $2 million deal because he's at least a solid guy. Him and Vientos will definitely be pitted against one another, see who will make the opening day roster. Not a whole lot to speak of other than that trade. Speaking of Vlad, he's going to LA in the form of the Dodgers. That's bananas. I can only really understand this move if, okay, Freddie Freeman is getting old. I get that. Vlad Guerrero Jr. I mean, I get it. He'll play first or maybe third, as these Dodgers do not have a third baseman. And I guess one of the others will play DH or play first because Walker looks like the fielding first baseman. Freddie Freeman seems more like a DH. Again, Vlad must be playing third. Otherwise, this is kind of odd. We run into a problem. Sixto Sanchez has used up all of his options. And I don't want to just waive him. I'd like to actually get something for him, especially considering he is a B potential. So I'm going to trade him. We'll see what we can get. The Tigers seem to be interested in this move. And in return, we do get a young pitcher. We do need some young arms to build up through the years. All right, a lot of the offense is going to be the same for year 2. One exception, I did sign Luis Rengifo. He'll be playing shortstop and really wherever he's needed. To be completely frank with y'all, Jefferson Quero will be the starting catcher, even if Christian Betancourt might seem like the better option by overall and that significantly better arm. Quick, small-time trade. Eniel De Los Santos is on the trade block, and we're above 500, and I just want to kind of just be pushing towards the wild card. Hopefully we got that in this move. They want Romy Gonzalez, who I think he's a little overrated just due to his B potential. Oh well, we need the reliever. A significantly better draft we have in 2026. 3 players over 85 potential, including 2 that are over 90. Alfonso Colzado, a starter. Willie Uribe, a reliever. I did go pretty reliever pitcher heavy because I feel like our relief pitching is just old or is getting older or aren't the type of guys that are just going to get better. They're all like D potentials and in like their late 20s. So I figured let's inject some young players into the organization. Hopefully that'll raise up everybody's game. David Gallegos, a closer. I think he's pretty good. He's 21 years old, should be a future closer for us. Andreas Zambrano, a reliever. Brian Torres, not too bad, pretty good. Walks per 9. Alexi Nunez, a catcher. Catchers are just so like impossible to find unless you find a top flight offensive catcher with like okay defense or like a absolute beast. You pretty much always gonna end up with like mediocre catchers. It's pretty pathetic, and with training being a crapshoot as to whether it works or not, yeah, it leads to a lot of catchers being just trash. And finally, we went Rodrigo Yaquez with our last pick. He does have a potential, but he is going to be a long way from a major league field. Pirates get a 98 potential left fielder. He's got some speed, he's got some lefty power, but it's going to take him a long bit to really develop. Cardinals pick up a closer I was looking at, but I think they picked him in the competitive balance round, so I had no chance at him. And the Giants get a significantly better catcher than the one we drafted, 94 85 potential, 71 overall right now. He's probably going to be a beast. The Blue Jays stole the left fielder I was looking at, and I believe it was in the first round too. He got snatched up the pick before our first pick. 99 potential, 82 overall. He would have ended up creating a logjam in the outfield anyway, but he at least would have been the starter somewhere, either left, center, or right field. White Sox get a closer that is pretty damn good. 71 overall, 96 potential. Surprisingly, there was another generational player. Houston ends up with Thomas Leroy, 99 potential. He's got 76 hits per nine. He's probably that next Hall of Fame closer. We sit 2 games out of a wild card spot, and Edward Cabrera dislocates his shoulder. It's going to be out for 2 months. We've got some pitching in the minors, but nothing too crazy. Hopefully, the offense can hold shit down. Damn, that's a huge blow. I'm not 100% sure whether I traded for this dude or I drafted him. I probably traded for him, but we're going to call up Geronimo Oliva. Look at that hits per nine. At the very least, he ain't going to be giving up no hits. His walks per nine behind my head, really not that good. Again, we just need to have more wins than some of the other teams to make a wild card. 77 and 85. We basically lost like 10 games in a row in the middle of... You see that big gap of gray there where we took mad L's with only a couple yellows sprinkled in there? Yeah, we just couldn't figure it out offensively. Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure the CPU changed my lineup due to an injury, and I'll show you how. Mark Vientos has come into his own this season. I'm kind of proud of myself for that trade, but they kept sticking Christian Betancourt in the damn lineup. He is ass. They kept sticking him at first. He has not played worth a damn. He is terrible. I didn't even stick him in at catcher, but they would also sneak him in at catcher occasionally. Even if Caro had a good season, and really, given where he's batting, it's just ridiculous. Santander, 24 home runs, 67 RBIs. Rengifo, 19 home runs, 44 ribbies. Arias, 21 home runs and 86 RBIs. He was really driving in runs this season. Jesus Sanchez, he kind of fell off because I know he got hurt at one point and was out for a long time. Victor Mesa Jr., he didn't really play all that much. Emmanuel Valdez, pretty good season, 19 and 53. Amaya didn't really play all that much. He was down in AAA for a lot of the year. Chris Mota, I don't know how he ended up here. I know he's on the 40-man roster and it's the end of the year, but he doesn't have any reason to be up here. SDS, we're not even a postseason team. Stop calling people up for no reason. Raimel Tapia barely played, and Willie Abreu also kind of barely played, under 200 plate appearances. Somehow this rotation is all messed up. Half of these guys weren't even on the roster for the season. Nonetheless, Alcantara was more than likely our best pitcher, 3.26 ERA, 1.15 whip. Lazardo, not too shabby in his own right. Didn't get the wins, but the ERA is pretty fine enough. Inoa, I'll take a 3.4 from him. Amada, he really didn't play. Actually, he might be up on options. Yep. We are going to have to figure out what we want to do with him. Yuri Perez, he did get hurt for part of the season. 2.69 ERA. How he's a 95 overall is kind of odd. I'm just saying. He hasn't been great in any of these seasons, though I do like the under 3 ERA. The bullpen is all over the place. I don't even think Lopez saved that many games. He saved 41, actually. Wow, it's actually pretty amazing. De Los Santos, he's split between 2 teams, so we don't really have true numbers for him as a member of this Miami Marlins team. Carlos Hernandez, I mean, he's a setup guy, so he's not going to have much in the way except an ERA. Raymond Burgos, a 6.07 ERA. He's going to need to work on that. I know he's young. Well, he's not even that young. He's 27. Derek Rodriguez didn't play at the majors. Justin Martinez didn't play at the majors. And Yoni Chirinos, I'm not even sure he played at all. Oh, he did. 3.5 ERA in 70 games. But 121 innings. Listen, relievers throwing over 100 innings. It doesn't happen that often, but I feel like it happens way too often in MLB The Show. Alcantara leading the league in complete games, and Yuri Perez leading the league in whip. Braves take the World Series in 2026, defeating the Rays. 3 of our players retire, all because of ability, probably their overall potential. Daniel Martinez, Felix Paulino, and Matthew Silva. Outside of a guy like Luis Rengifo, we don't really have anybody in terms of shortstop. I mean, we've got some guys, they're fine, but Brian Mata is out of options, and I don't want to lose him in waivers for nothing. So we're going to trade him. The White Sox seem to want to give up this young shortstop, 22 years old. Seems like a good deal to me. And here are the attributes. Draft lottery, as our team gets better, the worse our chances of actually getting the first draft pick. We have a 10% chance. You never know how these things play out. And we actually just don't move at all. 10th pick. Some teams have moved up, some teams have moved down. Hit the like button if you haven't heard this one before. Not much has changed this season. There's not much in the way of free agents that just make me want to sign them, so I don't. We're going to run back with just about the same team with a little bit of exceptions. Ronald Melendez was out there in free agency. He's a catcher. He's 19 years old, and he can hit. At the very least, he can hit. Hopefully his potential, he's able to surpass that and get that up to a C so he could stay. Other than that, he's basically one of those guys, you just got to play him and hope for the best. Other than that, we also have another young individual, 20-year-old Chris Mota, who unfortunately was called up at the end of the regular season because SDS does SDS things. Again, he's another one that can hit. He can hit, he's got no defense, and he's fast. Cool, we'll use your skill set then. Rotation does not change, at least not in the starters. Relievers, Geronimo Oliva, I cannot pass up on such a high hits per 9, and we'll put him in a long relief, which means teams are just not going to get all that many hard hits against him, though I would love to see his home runs per 9 and walks per 9 get better. He's perfectly fine where he is in the bullpen. Carlos Hernandez, Guadalupe Escobar, and Adbert Alzolay is the only real free agent I signed. He looks like a damn good closer. Hopefully he's able to shut the door down and we get into the postseason. We're very close to the draft, and honestly, just isn't really cutting it. He'll become a free agent. I'm not really willing to extend him, so we're going to trade him, and we do need some outfield depth. We'll exchange him for Manny Santana. I'm not 100% sure if it's Tovar or Amador. One of them just recently got a Colorado Rockies extension. Either way, it doesn't matter. We're going to make a trade for one of them shortstops. We're going to send Michael Arroyo, Samil Polanco, and Santiago Chavez, a catcher, for Ezekiel Tovar. A look at our draft picks, and, it's a far cry from last year. Miguel Bautista is a pretty good contact hitter. He's got solid vision and a good arm, decent speed. He just needs help with the power. He's 19 years old, though. Columbus Villarreal, pretty solid across the board. Not much in the way of stamina, but he's got hella break. Somewhere to 94. I'm going to assume it's either that sweeping curve or that slurve. Ryan Hernandez, a 72 overall relief pitcher. He's going to sit in A-ball for a while before he ever sees the field. Amari Bravo, 62 potential, 52 overall. He's one of those deep potential dudes. You never know what the hell's going to come in. They usually aren't that good. Thomas Rodriguez, 62 potential, 62 overall. So this seems like one of those guys that I've seen from other content creators when it comes to these guys whose potential are even with their overall or their potential is slightly lower than their overall. You just call them up if they're decent enough and hope for the best. Angel Francisco, 84 potential, but he's a terribly low overall, and his per nines just aren't that good. So he's just a guy that's just throwing BP pitches. Estevan Soriano, hella crazy K per 9, 89. He's only got a 60 potential. Damn. The Dodgers get yet another spectacular player, Howard Lorenz, 99 potential at a 67 overall and 18 years old. I've got a bit of a gripe with this 99 potential business. Listen, there should be the opportunity for not just 18-year-olds, but 19, 20, 21, 22, 23-year-old players to be that great of a potential. We got to get away from it just being 18 and 19-year-olds. Outside of that, there really was 199 potential, and everybody else, the next highest was 94, and there was a couple of those. Listen, we ain't making the postseason this year. The 2027 World Series goes to the Tampa Bay Rays, first time in their 40-year history. Kind of surprisingly, Carlos Estevez retires. I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't gonna re-sign him anyway, though his ERA was good. He only pitched 14 in the third innings. Thanks for holding up a roster spot, because to be honest, you didn't save that many games, and not through any fault of my own. I tried to have him become the closer. The problem is the game likes to swap people around without my knowledge. If we put things on manual, leave them alone, SDS. Please fix that. 4 years in. We can't seem to get better. We get better and better and then fall off a cliff for some reason. But we got to really look at free agency and see what we got to do. Sandy Alcantara is up to a 98 overall, but he ain't pitched like one last year. That's terrible. 6-16. Even ignoring that, the 4 ERA is fine. I mean, his ERA has gotten worse and worse since we started this, but 32 years old, he's a top pitcher. I'll at least offer him the contract. We're more than likely going to get a first from somebody. The offer's out there. Alcantara going to free agency. Unfortunately, we lost Sandy Alcantara to the Tampa Bay Rays, who actually decided to spend some money in free agency. About 6 years, about $120 million. Here's a look at our rotation. We'll have 2 rookies in the rotation, that being Andres Cruz, 28-year-old left-hander, and Santiago Cruz, a right-hander that's 32 years old, making his rookie debut. I think he'll pitch pretty well. Our bullpen is not too bad. I think we are going to make a serious run in year 5. We're only a month through the season, and to be honest, I'm having a really short leash with these starters. Andres Cruz is playing horribly. He needs to get sent down. We will send up Eddie Rosales and honestly hope for the best with a young pitcher. Same thing with Rodri Munoz. He's just not pitching that well. Like a 7.7 ERA. I know it's not a lot of innings, but I can't take that chance. The Jacob Amaya experiment is kind of over. Nasim Nunez was sitting on the trade block, and I'm kind of kicking the can down the road as far as progression and paying, because Amaya still has a couple years of arbitration left. Nasim Nunez is 2 years younger. It can't hurt. Plus, Ezekiel Tovar is missing 2 months, well now 2 months of the season due to a broken hand. What the hell? Why is Fernando Tatis on the... Wait. I'm getting ready to answer the question I already know about. This game does not have trade clauses, so of course it's going to be there. Might as well pull the trigger. Yeah, we can't do it. One, the Padres would be far over their budget, and we'd be put over our budget. Like, the Padres would already be... I don't know, it doesn't make any sense, but we can't do it. 71-91. I guess we're better. It's just still not enough for even a wild card spot. Dodgers get their 3rd championship in this rebuild. Seriously, SDS? Y'all gotta fix these World Series MVPs. He contributed nothing to the scoreboard. Why is he the MVP? Nimala went 1 for 1. Literally 1 for 1 in a 5-game series. You gotta be kidding me. We've got 3 retirees, a 23-year-old, which I don't think he should be retiring, a 22-year-old, who I also don't think should be retiring, and 28-year-old, alright, fine, I get it. I realize I failed to mention who I actually drafted. Federico Ordonez. We only signed 3 of the 6 or 7 guys that we drafted. For whatever reason, the scouting isn't the same as it was last year, where you could eventually you're going to get everybody, which honestly I like. Anyway, Federico Ordonez seems pretty good. He could probably start now if we really wanted him to. Santiago Nieto, a catcher, can also play first. He needs to work on his bat, but his defense is just fine. And lastly, Benito Mangana. Not too bad. Plays second, plays short. Definitely needs to work on the power and contact. 4th worst record in the league. Hopefully we'll at least stay at 4. Last year we got moved down. We still get moved down, but it's only 1 spot as opposed to 2. Athletics move up from 6 to 1 to get the number 1 pick in 2029. In the Rule 5 draft, I find a pretty solid 3rd baseman, Alexander Mojica from the DR. I think he'll actually be the starting 3rd baseman, if not DH. Brian De La Cruz really hasn't been hitting for the money and the attributes that he has. About 15 and home runs, 60 RBIs, and to be completely honest with you, I ain't gonna re-sign him, so I'm gonna trade him for something we could use, even though I've probably already drafted enough of these. We could use some starters, we could use, I guess, a 3rd baseman at some point, so we're gonna make this move, as Emmanuel Valdez probably ain't gonna cut it, and I've got a couple of guys that I'm gonna claim off of waivers too. This usually ain't my style, the fleece of the AI, but to be dead honest with you, the Giants signed Ronald Acuna. I don't care. Screw them. We're going to trade our not too shabby center fielder for their A prospect in Pablo Perez. The one problem with him, his hit per nine is not very good, but we don't have to worry about that because we ain't going to see him for a couple years. Off waivers, we get Oswaldo Cabrera and starting pitcher Wilkerman Gonzalez. Now, Gonzalez is going to get sent down, I'm not going to lie, but it's nice to have a starting caliber player in the minors in case we need him. Yanquiel Fernandez is on the trade block, and looking at the Rockies situation, I see why they want to move on from him, though contractually it doesn't make sense. He still has 2 years of arbitration left and is a pretty damn good player, but they do have some young guys like Darrell Davino, who is very good, but he's sitting at the minor league level. So we'll trade him. Lourdes Gurriel and a closer that's been on our 40-man for the longest period of time, Justin Martinez, but we've only really started playing him this year, and he doesn't have any runs given up, but I'm not expecting that to last very long, so go to Colorado. How dare you, SDS? You show me this garbage thinking I care. What makes you think I care? We've got one last shot to sign one of our draft picks here, Michael Sanchez. He was a first-round pick in the competitive balance. I'd actually chosen a catcher in the first true round and chose another one. The second one is even better. Hopefully he takes the money. He's asking for 1.8. We've got a little over $2 million to play with. Let's cross our fingers he takes this money. Yes, he will be a part of the Miami Marlins. We're gonna extend our most recent tradee, as you can't see over my shoulder till now. We have $20 million to play with after this contract, and maybe I should just go arbitration route. But listen, the less free agent contracts I deal with, the better. Taking a look at all of our draft picks, and there is a lot of yellow here that I don't like. We do have some guys that are 85 or higher. We also have just about as many that aren't nearly as good. Javier Collado was our first round pick, and I'm not going to say I regret drafting him because I don't regret drafting anybody. You never know what some of these players can become. If he gets to a C potential, he can definitely be at least a serviceable player in the league. Michael Sanchez, the last draftee we ended up signing, he's got good power right now at 22 years old and is an A potential 92 to be exact. Francis Morales looks playable right now and has B potential, pretty just solid across the board. Will we see him in his 18-year-old season? We'll see. Frank Bautista is next. He is also pretty much playable right now, though I would like that Ks per nine to be higher. 85 potential, 78 walks per nine. Pretty good pitch mix, though we will only really see it if we make the postseason. Sean Cuevas, great fielder just in general. He's got decent speed and can hit righties for contact. Is going to need to work on his lefty game. Matt Garcia, good speed, solid fielder, decent contact. Just really needs to work on his pop, to be real with you. And lastly, Austin Hidalgo, a C potential, but his hits per nine, he might be a long reliever, if not a starter. I could see him definitely getting better. I'm afraid that his potential is lower than his overall, and y'all know how MLB the Show does with this crap. Once you hit your potential, you basically start to come back down, and I don't think that's right. I think there should be a space between your overall and your potential, or it could be even, but as you get better, your potential should ladder its way up. Michael Nobles is one of the generational type prospects. His overall is not very good, but he's got very good potential at an A. He seems pretty evenly skilled across the board. Best attribute probably being his speed. Jose Armas, another catcher. This might have surprisingly been a decent draft for catchers, because it's not very often this kind of thing comes around. Had I probably scouted him, I probably would have drafted him, but it is what it is. Orioles GM is probably getting fired. I'm pretty sure I looked at Sammy Moya, 61 overall, good contact hitter, righty and lefty, 95 potential in total. He's 18 years old as a switch hitter. We are 14 games out of a wild card spot, and I don't know what to do. I don't feel the need to sign free agents because it's highly unlikely we make the postseason. I gotta be 100 with y'all. What's this, year 6? I mean, injuries do suck for us, but I don't know. Maybe we need to find that next pitching piece. If there's a free agent as a starter, maybe I won't be so inclined to play the guys that may not be established as much, but again, that remains to be seen. Oh boy, another terrible season. You know what? I kind of pride myself on having some integrity, on not always screwing over the AI when it comes to trades and free agency. But come on, man. Can I get something? I got a lot of homegrown talent here. Can we get to the postseason? Edwin Cabrera leads the league in ERA. In a Subway Series held damn near 30 years after the first one, the Mets get their revenge. We lose 4 players to retirement. Pedro Castro, who, wow. Yeah. Gustavo Escovedo, who I think I just signed like a season ago. Like, why do these young guys retire? I mean, I understand here and there some guys retiring, but like, come on, he could still get to be okay. Carlos Jimenez also retires, but it's because of a dislocated ankle, which, being as I work in an emergency room, I know exactly what that looks like. And Marco Vargas also retires. He could be a reliever. Like, why is he retiring, dog? Come on. At the start of the offseason, I've got to figure out my 40-man roster. I do have a video of how the 40-man roster works and how you should probably work it down in the description below. We've got to pick one player to add to it. That'll probably not be the case. I'm pretty sure I will eliminate some guys off the 40-man to make sure we keep some of these young dudes. Ain't this about a bitch? Brian De La Cruz, who we traded, actually had a bounce-back season. Probably wouldn't have helped us much, though. Let's be real. Probably our biggest signing of the rebuild. Abner Uribe signs with us, 3 years, $23.4 million. I know we've got some young relievers that are going to get called up, but I wanted some kind of insurance so that I don't have to call all of them up. Another high draft pick. I'm hoping for number 1, but I really more want to see this team get turned around and become a postseason team. We do move up, but it's the number 2. And you know what? That's fine. The Royals get the number 1 pick as well. 2030 season, this is the lineup. Jesus Sanchez on the last year of his contract. I'm going to move him from leadoff. As a matter of fact, I'm going to do it now. It's going to be Arias, let's be real. Yanquiel, Fernandez, Mark Vientos, Jesus Sanchez, Ezequiel Tovar, Lincoln Sanchez will be playing DH. Oswaldo Cabrera will be playing third. And Manuel Valdez will be in center. And Jefferson Quero will be a catcher. The rotation, not much has changed. Perez, Cabrera, Luzardo, Rosales, and Vargas, with Suarez as one long reliever as a lefty. Geronimo Oliva, the long reliever, as a righty. Brian Torres, Carlos Hernandez, Bartolo Cordova, who was one of our closers. I just figured call him up, why not? Guadalupe Escobar, one setup man. Jim Carvajal with that 99 K per 9, the other setup man, and Abner Uribe, our latest free agent addition. Ranking wise, we're 8th in contact, which, if that matters for anything, at least we'll be able to put bat on ball and, flood the bases with our Marlins, man. Post draft, Jesus Sanchez is going to be a free agent. Figured I'd trade him, and on the trade block, there was Kevin Alcantara. Not too shabby. We also are near 500. We're like 47 and 54. So hopefully he'll help us for that postseason push. Right after we trade for him, like 3 games later, he tears his freaking ACL. It's time. Arias has to be traded. While he's still hitting fairly well, regression is hitting. Let's be real. Let's just move him off and see what we can get for him. All right, Arias is going to be on the move to Oakland because they ain't moved in this franchise for 18-year-old pitcher, reliever, Rich Cordova, and second baseman, Joaquim Salinas. Here's the 2030 draft class. Pretty okay. Damn, I really thought I had some better players, at least potential-wise. All right, starting Julio Valdez, 80 potential, 77 overall. He's probably going to see early MLB time just from the fact that his potential was very close to his overall. Adrian Velasquez, a extreme power hitter, 86 from righties and lefties. Again, he will also more than likely see MLB playing time, especially considering his overall is higher than his potential. Don't understand why that's the case. I will probably edit that. We'll see. Jonas Valdez, 84 potential reliever, 70 hits per 9. pretty okay across the board. Lewis Olson, which was an accidental pick because, well, I ran out of time on the picks. I don't know why they decided to go 3 minutes for the first 3 rounds and then like a minute for the next ones. Just make it 3 minutes. He'll get traded. Eloy Mora, 71 potential. Not very good across the board, except he can throw with some solid velocity. Raul Ruiz, he's a speed defender, outfielder. And Luis Perez, who is kind of scattered all over the place, but he looks like he might be okay. Raymond Porter is shortstop. He's a 97 potential for the Phillies, where I think Trey Turner might be in like the last 3 years of his contract. Matthew Sainez is left fielder, 18 years old for the Brewers. I also think that what's his name is going to be going pretty soon. That being Christian Yelich on that long contract he got. Kenneth Buck is a 96 potential for the Arizona Diamondbacks. 19, geez Louise. Dodgers get another pretty damn good player, 94 potential, Kenneth Drummond. Benito Aguero goes to the Kansas City Royals, 95 potential, 71 overall. He's probably going to be playing very soon. Had another trash season, 65 and 97. I have no idea what the fuck is going on with the simulation. I really can't. Like, I'm putting together, I think, a competitive team, and somehow it's just not working out. The Phillies defeat the Twins in the 2030 World Series. None of our players retire. All right, last year we ended up with the number 2 pick, and we are right sitting at about that same spot. Hopefully we don't move down, we move up. Unfortunately, we moved down 1. The Dodgers move up 3, and the Nationals move up 2. So we'll end up with the number 3 pick in the 31 or 32 draft. The White Sox are interested in offering us a deal. It's not something I'd even do, even though Kevin Maitan is not really a major league player, but this guy doesn't fit our team. Our one big signing, Jose Soriano, and it's really not even that big. 2 years, 10 mil. He should be here for both. I just feel like if we bolster the bullpen, it'll help us get out of games with the lead winning. Obviously, that's how you win games, dumbass. Hopefully, our offense is potent enough to get us to the damn postseason. This is draining. Waivers can be your best friend. Sean Santiago, for some silly reason, this Yankees team has already exhausted all 3 of his options, and he's only 23 years old. I'm going to claim him. That's going to require me to send somebody down to keep him. But look at these offensive numbers. He might be the key to the postseason. We got him. When I was drafting a lot of these guys, I felt they were going to be a lot better than where they are, at least potential-wise. But it is what it is. I did go for a decent amount of closers, which again, in my eyes, they're just relievers. I'll just go in the edit tab and change them to relievers. 18-year-old Alejandro Gomez, 82 potential. Second highest of all the draftees. Pretty good K per 9, decent walk per 9. Philip Hernandez, pretty good across the board, though he might give up the home run a bit. Alfonso Guzman, a 60 overall with a 67 potential. He'll be a bit before he's major league ready. I'd say the same thing for Pete Ramirez, but he can at least hit righties and can field, has some speed, and pretty good vision. Just needs to work on that pop. Richie Davila, not too bad hits and Ks per 9. He's a reliever, though. Decent velocity, 56 overall. Luis Gonzalez was one guy, I think he was sitting there till about the 5th round, and it looked like he had a much higher potential than a 84, but I will take it. And Edmundo Pinheiro, good Ks per 9. I will give him that, and solid stamina, because I don't feel like there are enough relievers with higher than like 40, 50, 60 stamina, but I don't make the game. I'm very sure I scouted Carlos Perez, 95 potential. I just don't think he fell to a draft pick of ours, or if he did, I guess I went with somebody else, but he looks pretty damn good, at least potential wise, and he's 23 years old, so you'll probably see him in like 2 years. We are 3.5 games out of the division, and 2.5 out of a wild card spot. August has been good to us. 2 wins even behind my head. A whole lot of yellow. That's what I like to see. Ay, Dios mío. It took us 8 seasons to make the postseason. 8! Ocho! 86 and 76. We win the division. We will be taking on the Cardinals in the divisional round, meaning we completely skipped the wild card, which is great because we got a shot at a ring. I feel like I honestly put together a better team than this in previous seasons, but it is what it is. I'm going to say this for the 4 millionth time. Sony San Diego, allow us to set our postseason roster, not just automatically throw dudes up at the majors. This man has not played all season. Why the fuck is he on my postseason roster? Finally, some postseason. Game 1. Because I can't run with a 3-man rotation. Game 1. We lose game 1. Well, it's a 3-game series, so shit, we gotta jump into this. You know, it's pretty fitting that Jesus Luzardo is going to be the one to start this game number 2, but I can't really get too sentimental. We got work to do. He really wasn't that good of a pitcher this year, looking at his win-loss record and his ERA, whip and strikeout to walk ratio, also pretty fine. He's going to take the first defensive opportunity from Ji-Hwan Bae, throw it over to first, and he'll take care of the first out. This Cardinals team is made up of Ji-Hwan Bae, Enrique Bradfield Jr., Gunnar Henderson, Bo Bichette, Dylan Cruz, Alex Kirilloff, Sean Bouchard, Yu Chang, and Luis Torrens. They were 4th in the National League in home runs this season, so they will be a pretty potent lineup. Sir, now is not the time to be asking for an autograph. Henderson gonna slap one to left field, and Luzardo will get out of danger. Well, he really wasn't much of it to begin with. Matthew Liberatore, though, having a damn near Cy Young season, depending on what numbers you look at, 17-8, 3.3 ERA, so this may be a pitching matchup. Luis Garcia is going to take the walk, though. Great job getting on base without having to swing the bat. Sometimes it's important. Alcantara, ground ball in the right field, and this Latino team has 2 runners on. Let's get things moving. Take a look at this pitch again. Curveball outside corner, just take it back once it came from Fernandez. Has been pretty good this season, as you can see by the numbers, 20 and 80, and he's going to hit this one deep to right field. Running back, and up on the warning track. I'm going to throw it back in as we will have runners at the corners. Start the 4th or 5th plate appearance. Our team, you know what it is. Garcia, Alcantara, Fernandez, Velasquez, Ordonez, Vientos, Tovar, Santiago, and Jefferson Guerrero. We are 7th in the National League, in batting average. Speaking of Velasquez, the guy we drafted, great power threat, just needs to work on his contact over the years. He's actually in his rookie season. I didn't exactly. He's on the postseason roster and decided to keep him there. And he is also going to work the walk. I would have liked to have seen him smash one out, but Ordonez seems to be a pretty good candidate to do so. Fly ball to center field, running it down. It's going to get caught. Runner from third is going to tag, and at the plate, he is going to get thrown out. Garcia gunned out on the double play, score at 8-2. Bichette is going to be the first strikeout victim on a sinker outside corner. Kirilloff here in the second, gonna get the Cardinals' first base hit, hitting it in the left field. Bouchard, ground ball up the middle, and roll all the way in the center, and with 2 outs, Cardinals might be looking at getting a run that we couldn't get in the first. Chang slaps one in the right field. Fernandez throws it back into the infield, and it is a terrible throw. The Cardinals will take the lead of 1-0. Luzardo looking like he's getting a little bit of a trouble. 25 pitches. Number 26 is going to get him out of danger. So lead 1-0 as we jump to the bottom of the second. Tovar smashes one in the center field. And with 1 away, is a little bit of a stolen base threat. Not the fastest, but and you know what? This might be scored a steal, and no, wild pitch. And surprisingly, he gets in there safe, despite sliding directly into Bae's knees. I don't know what the hell he was thinking. Santiago slaps one into right field. It's going to bounce down. Tovar coming around to score. He will do so pretty easily on the offline throw. This game is tied at 1 apiece. Quero, 3-1 count. He really should have been a little bit more patient. Take a pitch, flies out the left. Garcia, unfortunately, will ground out second to first, and we can't get any more runs to capitalize. But I appreciate Sean Santiago getting the job done early. Hopefully we can see this entire Marlins team do so later on. Bay getting a hit to lead off the third inning on a 3-2 count. Henderson gonna work the walk, and what do you know, just like that, 2 runners on, 1 away. Bichette gonna strike out for the second straight plate appearance. Fastball inside, struck out on a sinker last time. 2-1 to Dylan Cruz. I'm surprised it's here and not in Washington where he originally was playing. So he'll line out to right field. Alcantara, ground ball down the first base line, kicks right past the umpire's left leg, and he will stand up at first, not advancing any further. Hit and run though from Fernandez. Unfortunately, he didn't go to third. And Adrian Velasquez punches out on the 12-6 curve. Take a look at that once more. He had no shot at that one. Absolutely no shot. Ordonez strikes out. Oh, man, second out. Can Vientos come through? He's done pretty well this season. He will. He's going to hit it to the out-of-town scoreboard all the way in left center field. Throwing it back in. We do score a run. And a second will come in, making it 3-1. Trying to get it to a game 3 here in this wild card series. The crowd is pretty hot too. Tovar, runner at second, smacks one in the left field, but it's going to be caught. Unfortunately, would have loved to have seen it go over his head. Might have scored 2 more. Kirilloff starting off the fourth, ground ball past the first and second baseman in the right field for a base hit. Bouchard, a check swing on a pitch that actually grazed the back of his leg, which is ridiculous. Steal attempt, not going to be successful. Third, second to first, call it 5-4-3 on a double play. Gavin Stone's going to come out here. He's pitched in 38 games with a 9-12 record. I'm going to assume he was a starter. Coming out as a reliever, a little strange. He's going to walk the second batter of the inning. Garcia is going to strike out, unfortunately, here in the fourth. And Alcantara, 2 for 2, chops it to short, but unfortunately will be thrown out. So his perfect hitting game will end right there. Luis Torrens smacks one deep to left field. Fernandez is going to make the catch on the warning track for the first out. Not the best of fielders, but we'll take it. Bay gets a hit. 1 of 2 now, making it 2 of 3 in the ball game. Bradfield smacks one over to third baseman Sean Santiago in the left field, and the runner from second will be smart and stay put. Henderson up the middle, second, short the first, no. Runner at first, Henderson will be safe, so he'll have an opportunity to get another run, and it's not going to happen. Bichette strikes out for the third time, and Luzardo is fired up, rightfully so. Velasquez going to strike out as the second out in the fifth. Ordonez also going to suffer the same fate. So through about the halfway point of this game, we still had the lead. All right, we're going to call on Bartolo Cordova. Strikeout rate of 33%, which is very good for a reliever. He's actually a closer by, position. Not that that matters. As he gives up a hit to Dylan Cruz, a double throw back into second, and he's going to slide in safe to start off the sixth. Alex Kirilloff, 2 for 2. Can he make it 3 for 3? He ain't gonna with a strikeout on a 4-seam fastball. Bouchard already got a hit earlier. Ground ball to second. Garcia over to first. Running from second will advance to third as Yu Chang looks to pick up a hit. He ain't gonna. Striking out. Inside fastball to end the sixth. Jump to the bottom of the sixth. Vientos got us an early double. Smacks this one deep to left center field. And unfortunately, it'll have warning track power. He's a little disappointed in himself. Did almost hit 30 home runs this past season. Santiago swing and miss at a slider way out of his wheelhouse. Torrens going to strike out as well to start the seventh. As Bartolo Cordova looks to make up for... Nope, never mind. Geronimo Oliva is going to come out of the pen. He is a starter by trade, but I like to shorten my rotation in the postseason. He'll give up a hit to G1 Bay, his third hit of the ball game here in the seventh, as Bradfield Jr. not going to swing at the pitch. Change up, throw to second, not going to be in time, as they'll take second. Bradfield will capitalize, hitting this to right field. No, actually it is caught by Hernandez, the throw back into the infield. Surprisingly, Bay did not advance. Henderson, though, hits this one deep to right field, and it is just foul by 2.5 feet. So full count offering. Strike number 3. Henderson not going to be able to come through clutch for his Cardinals. Josh Fleming on the mound gives up a base hit here in the 8th inning with 2 runners on. Runner going to come around from second to score. As a matter of fact, it is now 4-1 Marlins. Vientos going to work the walk, and man, I got to say, he's had a pretty good game. Tovar will walk as well, so in the 8th inning with nobody out, bases are loaded. Runner will also score 5-1. Looking to close this one out, Oliva looking to get the 3-inning save. Unfortunately, he's going to give up a long ball to Sean Bouchard. That is his 3rd hit of the ball game, and might the Cardinals have a late game rally? Yu Chang, 3-2 offering. Nope, not going to swing at it. Torrens is on deck. He did strike out earlier. Chang smacks one to left field. This one will stay in the ballpark this time for the first out here in the 9th. Torrens 0 for 3, make it 0 for 4, striking out twice thus far. Ji-Hwan Bae 3 for 4, smacks it right to Santiago, and we'll be going to a game number 3. Series tied at 1 game apiece. I know we can make things happen. All right, 10 hits for them, 8 for us. We made ours count. Liberatore only went 3 innings, striking out 2 and walking 2, giving up 3. Now in game number 3, again, the winner advances to the National League Divisional Series. Calzado on the mound for us, and yeah, we're wearing our throwbacks. Current day, Tink Hens top prospect will be on the mound for the Cardinals. Alfonso Calzado, not the best of seasons, 8-14 record, 4.77 ERA and a 1.47 whip. His strikeout rate ain't that good, but his walkout rate really isn't that bad. He does throw a unique running fastball, slightly different than a 2-seamer or a sinker, and oh boy, speaking of running, that pitch runs away for the first walk. Kirilloff going to take advantage, looking like a hit and run as Lincoln Sanchez gets that ball back in, and they have runners at the corners to start this ball game off. Henderson smacks this one deep to left field. Hernandez gonna make the catch. That means the runner at third is gonna tag. Honestly, I don't think I would have caught that. I would have let that, land in foul territory and try to get the strikeout. That was a 3-2 count. Bichette smacks it down the third baseline. And the Cardinals will continue to have base runners on. 2 runners actually taken off on a 3-2 2-out count, but it's not going to matter as the Cardinals take an early 1-0 lead. We will face Tink Hens, as mentioned earlier, 3.35 ERA, 26.2% strikeout rate. That is very good. Santiago, oh man, swinging and missing at a slider that basically would have hit him in the ankles if he was standing in the other batter's box. Fernandez smacks this one down third baseline. It's going to roll all the way up against the wall. And he's going to hustle into second. He's going to get there as Ordonez comes up, smacks it down the first base line. It cornholes the umpire in the right field. And we're going to score a run. It is now 1-1. Second straight game where it's been 1-1 in the second inning or earlier as Tovar smacks this pass. Ji-Hwan Bae into center field. Looks like we're going to take the lead 2-1 with 2 away. Clutch hitting by this squad. Sanchez going to work a walk. I'm surprised he didn't swing at that, as Hens is on a crazy pitch count. 36 pitches. Ground ball to third. He would finally get out of it, but only giving up 2 runs, which that should have been a more disastrous inning for them. Yu Chang hits it to short, and unfortunately it's going to kick off of Tovar's glove. That is an error, rightfully so. Joey Bart. Yeah, that Joey Bart. Ground ball to second, over the short, covering that same base over the first, and they will get out of it with a double play. Quero. Ground ball down the third baseline. It's going to roll all the way into actual corner, and he should easily have a stand-up double. No, he is that damn slow. Maybe he hesitated. I'm not sure. Either way, a little waste of a good hit. Here in the third, Dylan Cruz will get on with a base hit. Kirilloff smacks it down the third base line. It's going to roll, but it's kind of got some brakes on it, so it'll end up in Fernandez's glove. Runners at first and second as opposed to the corners. Henderson smacks this one high and deep, but not quite deep enough. Fernandez will come up throwing. Hits Tovar, no advancement. Bichette to Santiago to Garcia over the first, and that is a double play, so we won't have to worry about anybody scoring. Change up outside corner by Calzado. Up to 73 pitches here in the fourth inning. I hate the fact that they're throwing so many pitches. This is ridiculous. They won't do this in a real game. Whatever. Change up, strikeout by Chris Carpenter. Not that Chris Carpenter. Yu Chang gets yet another hit because that is all he has been doing this series. Joey Bart strikes out because what else is new? And Calzado seems very fired up to get this team to the NLCS. Cooper Hierpe, I probably butchered his name. He'll get, won't matter because Cruz will get a base hit. Chopper from Henderson to short over to second, back to first, and another double play will end yet another inning. We still have the lead 2-1. Ordonez strikes out on fastball outside corner. Vientos got us our lead early yesterday. Unfortunately, he'll chop it to the pitcher. Ooh, almost a high throw to first, and that'll end the fifth. Calzado, 102nd pitch will be a strikeout from Bichette. Bichette not playing very well in this series. Verdugo, though, on the other hand, will smack this in the left field, and that'll give them a base hit. All right, we're going to go to a different pitcher, that being Liam Mendez. 3.98 ERA. Runner already on first, and Brandon Lowe, or Lau, doesn't matter, hits it high and deep to straightaway center, and the Cardinals will take a 3-2 lead. .445 feet. That's a hell of a hit. Carpenter. I called him Chris. I meant to say Kerry. It's all good. He gets on, base it up the middle, kicks off of Garcia's glove, and looks like both runners are going to be safe. The defense, we are a bottom tier defense, but Liam Mendez strikes out Joey Bart. That's the second time he's punched out, and he is very disappointed in his actions, and he'll get another strikeout to end the sixth. Brian Torres, 7-1 record from the bullpen, though. 2.66 ERA. We are expecting him to not give up too many hits, and what do you know? Bo Bichette actually walks. One of the rare times he's either got a hit or a walk. Ground ball up the middle, kicks off of Tovar's glove, and there's not going to be a throw to first. Not a good look. Kerry Carpenter on deck in the seventh. We need to just get out of this inning. Lowe has already smacked a home run, and oh man, he is going to work the walk. That means the bases are loaded for a power threat in Carpenter. Bichette, Verdugo, and Lowe on the base paths, 2 away. And it's going to be a fly ball in the center. It's going to bounce down. Alcantara comes up throwing, and it is not going to be even remotely close. It's 5-2. Yu Chang strikes out, though. Fortunately, we don't have to deal with him slapping hits all around. We jump to the bottom of the seventh. Guerrero, ground ball too short, and he's going to eat that one. Base hit. Would have loved to have had you on earlier. Garcia, chopper, Henderson over to first, and that is a double play. Not a good look, as we need every out imaginable to get back into this. Pop up. And it's going to be an out to end the seventh. Orion Kirkering coming out of the bullpen. Lefty's batting 1,000, and nope, that's going to go down to 500. And the strikeout on the slurve. Ordonez smacks it up the middle. Sinker pitch to center field, and we've at least got a runner on, but we've got to be very smart about each and every out, each and every pitch that we see. Tovar full count. Vientos full count. He's gonna smack this one deep to right field. It is gonna get out of here into the Cardinals bullpen. And we are within one. Mark Vientos. I think he might have been either my first or second trade in this rebuild, and he is coming up pretty much aces this series. But is it going to be enough? Well, actually, we do need more, so we need other guys to step up. Tovar, unfortunately, going to strike out on the slurve. Out number 2, and they're going to change. Oh, what do you know? They're going to go to Adbert Alzolay, a guy who spent a couple seasons with us. Didn't pitch too terribly. I just figured we needed to go in a different direction. And he is going to get the final out here in the 8th. Whether we see him in the 9th or not is up for debate. Verdugo, chopper up the middle. Tovar, and that is going to end the 9th inning. So we need 1 run to tie and 2 to walk off and win it. Alcantara, Caro, and Garcia. And we'll be facing Jojo Romero. Lefties are batting 1,000, righties 250. Alcantara, oh, he's going to strike out, low fastball for the first out. Take a look at that once more. And yeah, it was down the middle, but low. Alcantara, Caro, going to smack this one into right field. And unfortunately, we are 1 out away from elimination. Garcia smacks it into the left field gap. It's going to roll all the way up until the Auto Nation alley sign there in right field. I wish he were faster. I would have sent him a third. And with 2 outs, we are 180 feet away from tying this ball game up. Sean Santiago, 1 for 4, smacks it deep to right field. It is not going to be caught. It's going to bounce and roll up against the wall. 1 run will score. Santiago going to second, and oh man, we just might walk this off. Oh man, you'll love to see it. Ordonez is on deck, but hopefully we don't need him. He is 500 with runners in scoring position. This is Yanquiel Fernandez. Oh, strikeout on the high outside pitch. I don't think that was an out, but we will be going to extras. And in the 10th, Soriano will come out to pitch. No runner on second rule. Not that it's going to matter, because now we have to change pitchers yet again. We go to Chris Vargas, a guy who actually started a good portion of the year. Again, I like to shorten my rotations in the postseason. He's going to get the second out here in the 10th, striking out of Chris Carpenter, who was previously 2 for 4. Yu Chang also, but he will also work the walk. Runner on first for Joey Bart, smacks it deep in the left field. It is going to stay within the ballpark. Alcantara comes up throwing. Carpenter coming around third to score, and it is 6-5 here in the late going. We jump ahead to the bottom of the 10th. Ordonez, 2 for 4. 2 hits, driving in a run, scoring twice himself. Ground ball up the middle, and what a way to start off said 10th inning. Trying to hype up his teammates. Vientos, 2 for 4. Chopper to short, going to do it himself. Over to first, and man, that is a big time GIDP. Tovar going to take third pitch for ball number 2. 8 home runs, 44 RBIs in the regular season. He's going to hit this sinker just foul. Just need you to straighten things out, man. Come on. 2-2 count. Chopper up the middle to King. And, damn. We are going to be eliminated by the Cardinals. They will advance to the National League Championship Series, and we've got some work to do in the offseason. Offseason. The Rule 5 draft, I found this young second baseman who, honestly, we could use some backup just given the age of some of the other guys we have on the team. Luis Garcia is getting older. Albert Torres is already 30. And I think it'll help with the depth. It took until damn near spring training, and 2 teams put in more lucrative offers than us, but we get Mark Vientos back, at least for the next 2 years. Third year is an option. Starting rotation doesn't look any different than it has for like most of the last 5 seasons. The batting lineup, on the other hand, a little different depending on righties and lefties. Luis Garcia comes back for another season. Sean Santiago will be playing first, which means Vientos will be playing third, as he is a much better fielder. It just makes more sense to play him at third than at first, as His bat is still pretty good for a first baseman. Yanquiel Fernandez playing center. Federico Ordonez playing right field. The 21-year-old Ezequiel Tovar will continue to man short. Lincoln Sanchez will be playing left field. That could change. Alcantara's not bad. I just want to see how Lincoln Sanchez does. And his replacement, Alex Ortiz, is actually not our starter. Jefferson Guerrero is, and Adrian Velasquez will be the DH. Against lefties, that'll change up some. Miguel Valenzuela will be playing second, our Rule 5 draft pick. Kevin Alcantara, Fernandez, Velasquez, Sanchez, Tovar, Ordonez playing first, Luis Garcia playing third, and Alex Ortiz playing catcher. Y'all may be wondering why I'm not playing Pablo Perez. There's only one reason. His hits per nine is not that good. 57 is fine, but I would figure maybe once Luzardo, I'll probably trade him. He is 34 years old. Perez will get his shot, and I'm sure he will set the entire league on fire. Frank Bautista has the opposite problem. He has good hits per nine, and his Ks per nine is not that great. He's also 20 years old. I ain't gonna lie, I did a damn good job either trading or drafting some of these guys. I think we may be well on our way towards at least a further spot in the postseason. Not gonna lie, here in 2032, we're out of it. We're in last place in division. I said I would trade Luzardo, and I'm actually gonna do it. I'm gonna push him off for 2 relievers and a center fielder, which one of those relievers has a particular pitch, which I know it didn't matter too much because it's mostly a sim rebuild. He's got a Vulcan change. You don't see that pitch too often. Pablo Perez has already been called up. Now it's time to call up Frank Bautista right above my cranium. Back to normal. Another disappointing season. 90 plus losses. White Sox win the World Series against the Pirates of all teams. Since trading for Ezequiel Tovar, these are the numbers. He hasn't been bad, but he hasn't been very good for that matter. Luis Garcia, outside of 2031, has basically been useless. He's a free agent also. Soriano had a good year followed by an ass year. How do you only pitch 8 2/3 innings? I don't understand that. Before we really begin the offseason, here's the draftees. Julio Parra, C potential, 79 overall. He looks like he's going to be our first baseman from day one, as Vientos has a 2-year option. And don't get me wrong, Ordonez is good, but he can go play in one of the outfield positions. Alejandro Spanos, D potential, 64 overall, can play first, second, and third. Seems like he's just a lefty contact guy for now. Jorge Trevino, C potential, 64 overall, switch hitter, plays first, plays third, plays left field. He might be okay. I thought I was drafting him and he'd be our future third baseman because we're kind of weak at that position. Alfonso Guzman, D potential, 63 overall, from Puerto Rico. Lefty power guy. Okay fielder, decent speed. He'll probably flame out in a couple years. Armando Rosales is a free agent. He's not a real player, but he's a 97 overall. Though I don't like to make my decisions based off of an overall, he's 24 years old and has already played 6 years, which is bananas. Juan Soto type shit. I might attempt to sign him. Granted, it's gonna cost me at least $380. At this point, I'm ready to end this damn rebuild. Let's try it. Somehow he only wants 2 years. I didn't edit this at all. I just pressed X. He wants 2 years. You know what? If we're gonna give you 2 years, we might as well give you $40 million a year. 2 for 80. I'll even backload it for you. We have plenty of relievers. If Abner Uribe don't want to come back, cool. Yeah, go to Boston, you bum. Wow. I wouldn't have guessed we'd have actually got him, but we got him. 2 years, 80 mil. He'll be 26 by the end of that contract. If he's driving in 105 runs, I want to run to the World Series within the next 2 years. Ramon, can you explain this to me? Why is he going down in overall? This doesn't make any sense. 20 home runs back-to-back years. Like, this doesn't make sense. So you start to tank him just because his potential is lower than his overall? That just means you were better than what you were projected to be. Potential's got to stop being the ceiling. Like, seriously. It's not a ceiling. It's just a, hey, this is what the league thinks you are. Like, stop this. This is ridiculous, man. Might I have just cost us a first-round draft pick? Albert Ruiz is available after the whole have your 40-man roster set period on November 20th. He's a 90 overall right now. I'm not too concerned. I want the postseason any damn way. That draft pick we might lose might be this one, so this is the only time I'm really hoping that it's worse. Slides down 4 spots. It's now the number 7 pick. This has to be our best rotation of the entire rebuild. 485 or better players. Fernando Mota coming back for, well, he played a little bit a couple years ago. As far as the bullpen is concerned, most of the same guys are here, though we do have 2 rookies. Offensively, a lot of the same damn suspects. One big addition, the Armando Rosales deal, which he's making $37 million this year, $43 next year. Here's how we stack up against the rest of the league. I've basically sacrificed everything for contact and power, and that is it. Luis Angel Acuna is on the trade block, and Joaquin Salinas is just not cutting it, both offensively and apparently we need help defensively. So I'm going to move on from him and pack along Manny Santana, a guy that we'd end up using up all his options anyway, where he's at 3 of 3. To make this move, we're a half game out of division. Let's get it. Quick run through the draft picks. It was an okay draft. I would have thought some of these dudes were better, but it is what it is. 75, 80 potential. That guy could play right now. Y'all have no idea what the hell y'all talking about as far as potential. How do you only give him an 80? His overall is a 78. Come on. Anyway, Alfredo Jimenez got some power. Brian Ventura, pretty solid all-around pitcher. Freddie Arena is not going to give up very many hits. And Ozzie Trevino looks more like a DH kind of guy and not a real true shortstop. At the beginning of September call-ups, we are 69 and 66. I would say that's nice, but we only lead the division by a half a game. And the 4th place team is only a game and a half behind us. Do we have a postseason in us again? All right, we got to see how things play out. And we lose 3 out of 4. We're continuing to fucking lose. Let me check the lineup. We are now 4 games out of the division. Oh my goodness. Why do we keep losing? We've only won 2 games this month. Actively fix that. Do what y'all gotta do. We are really about to fall out. Wow, we finally get a win. First time in a week. Just get guys back in the lineup. 77, 78 losses. 79. Where are we? We're 3.5 out of the division. I don't think we're going to win it this year. 5 games left in the season. 4 until elimination. We win against the Phillies. We win against them again. We lose. We win. 81 and 80. Oh, we're already eliminated. Oh, wait. Oh, shit. We're 1 game behind the Braves. Yeah. There's no game 163 either, which is kind of sucks for content purposes. I ain't gonna lie. Do we get the dub? We don't make the playoffs. 80 and 82. Damn it. Pablo Perez did lead the league in strikeouts, and Armando Rosales led the league in walks. Astros get back to winning a World Series, defeating the Pirates. I feel like the Pirates have been in the World Series like 3 of the last 4 years, and they can't seem to get one. If a championship ain't simmering with this coaching staff, I don't know what it's going to take. I'm looking to add some shortstop depth. This is really not going to affect our major league team, so don't expect me to trade for Caminero. As far as pitching, Mota has been at the majors for several years, or he's been at it for 2 to be real with you. He's 30 years old. He can't really get any better. I mean, he absolutely can. I just don't see it as the starting pitcher for us. Given his hit sprint on is at 54, gotta let him go. Year 10's rotation looks like this. Pablo Perez, followed by Yuri Perez, Frank Batista, Alfonso Calzado, and rookie Richie Franco holding down the 5 spot. Columbus Villarreal will be our long reliever, though let's be honest, Eddie Rosales is probably going to get a ton of the innings anyway. Julio Valdez, Andres Sobrano, and Martin Correa make up the middle reliever portion of rookies. Willie Uribe and Jim Carvajal make up the setup men, and Philip Hernandez comes back for another season as the closer. Batista, Rosales, Ordonez, Acuna, Fernandez, Santiago, Morales, Mark Vientos, and Michael Sanchez make up the starting 9. Backups, Kevin Alcantara, Jefferson Carroll, Lincoln Sanchez, and Alex Ortiz. Yes, I am running with 3 catchers. They're some of our better offensive guys, so I might as well let them rock against lefties. It's Acuna, Batista, Rosales, Fernandez, Vientos, Ordonez, Morales, Santiago, and Alex Ortiz will be making up the catcher at the number 9 spot. I think we're ranked pretty high, too. We are the number 6 team in all of baseball. We still ain't got no defense, and we've taken a hit in speed, but we've got the pitching, we've got the contact, we got the power. We got to make the damn World Series. One game before the regular season finale, we have clinched a wild card spot. And this is year 10. This is why you didn't see anything draft related. Turns out we'll be taking on the Colorado Rockies in the first round of the postseason. They mean the wild card. Our first true award winner, Pablo Perez, wins both the MVP and the Cy Young in 2034. Mark Vientos gets the Hank Aaron Award, and Mark Vientos gets the batting title. I got to get better at showing y'all the stats, but here they are. Kevin Alcantara, 19 home runs, 52 RBIs, 284 average. Lincoln Sanchez, 12 home runs, 31 RBIs, 279. Luis Angel Acuna, 36 and 110. Armando Rosales, 27 and 85. Sean Santiago, 18 and 55. His batting average is kind of Yankel Fernandez, 28 and 85 with a 258 average. Mark Vientos, the batting champ, 31 home runs, 116 RBIs. If our offense isn't just running roughshod on everybody to win a ring, I'm going to be pissed. Francis Morales, 16 home runs, 68 RBIs, 293 average. And Michael Sanchez, 14 home runs and 49 RBIs. Game 1. We take game 1 3-0. Pivotal game 2. We sweep them 12-1, as a matter of fact. We'll be taking on the Nationals in the NLDS. Moving on, we win game 1 of the NLDS, lose game 2 8-3, lose game 3 actually 2-1, and we've been eliminated. That is a very disappointing way to end this off. What do you know? The World Series, before we really end this, the World Series, Baltimore versus Washington. At least they don't have to travel that far. Game 1 goes to the Nationals. Game 2 goes to the Nationals. Game 3 also goes to the Nationals. Oh, man. Oh, no. Baltimore takes Game 4. Game 5 goes to the Nationals. If you want to see a more successful rebuild, check out my Angels franchise on your screen here. Or if you want more franchise content, check out the Franchise Ain't Dead podcast, also here on the channel.